your hospital bill is probably wrong, and I'll give you the reasons as to why it would be wrong. Though in most cases we find ourselves paying for medical bills, paying for things that we are not really sure whether we receive the services for those things. But instead, since now a doctor presents for you the medical bill, you see, you check out the figures and you'll be like, oh my god, this is too much actually. And now it's even worse when you're supposed to pick that money out of pocket. For insurance, at times, it will be easier, or actually not easy, but still at least to be favorable. But if at all you're picking it out of pocket and then you present it to the medical bill of $100,000 or maximum plus, and you feel like, even your adrenaline sets in, you become anxious, you become what, so you don't even think of, whether there was an error somewhere, or probably the medical bill is wrong. So here I will give you the reasons as to why sometimes your medical bill can be wrong, and you need to go and talk to the doctor or to talk to someone who presented to you that medical bill for negotiations and for something maybe to at least look through so that they can see the way to go. Yeah, so the number one reason as to why times medical bills become wrong, because these medical bills are made by humans. Actually, it's not, although some hospitals are putting artificial intelligence and what calculations and whatever, but we find ourselves making some errors in calculations, and maybe the medical bill that we were presented to was probably for another patient, but because maybe they interchanged slightly the patient numbers, you see, for an electronic system that we are using, probably there is some exchange of maybe say just a figure, a small number from the patient number, and then they give you a bill for another patient. That's also very much possible when they are entering the data. So you have to check through. The names can be maybe the same or related names and whatever, but at times we even don't check the names. You look at the medical bill, you'll be like, you don't even check the name, whether it's yours or it's for someone else. Even at times you can even see that that's not the name of your patient, or that's not your name as a patient, but instead you'll be like, you can't start to negotiate, you can't start, you just, I don't know, maybe you're just anxious, you fear, or I don't know, whatever, but you just start from the basics. Check the name, check the the diagnosis. Let's say you had a patient that just had maybe a minor surgery, and then you're paying bills for someone with a major surgery, maybe let's say thyroidectomy or what. So you end up doing things that are really not practical for yourself, yet it was the hospital error that maybe they inserted figures that are not worth it. At times maybe they may put some other, let me say, bills, some services that were not given, let's say prescriptions, drugs that you're not supposed to receive at that particular point, but maybe were also included somewhere. Maybe lab tests that were, they indicate that certain lab tests were done, yet in actual sense they were not done on your patient. And so you have the evidence, you have the, you can present that, and you'll be like, these things were not done on my patient, and so I'm not supposed to pay them. Yeah, it's simple as that. You get? So many things actually. Let me say, you may have a patient and just required an X-ray, and then you're paying money for MRI, and there they indicate that MRI. Of course, the hospital system just takes it that maybe, yeah, this patient is supposed to pay for MRI services, but instead your patient received X-ray services. It was just an error, not because maybe the hospital is against you or the doctors are against you, they are trying to cheat you, or they are bad in one way or the other, but because now we are humans, everyone really makes mistakes and we make errors in one way or the other. At least you find yourself doing things. Maybe the person that was entering the data was quite tired, or was pissed, or had some emotional challenges that, not even emotional challenges, but maybe was rushing and maybe just interchanged out figures like that, or they placed someone who is not well versed with the system, and so put things, and then some error occurred somewhere. You get? So you're not supposed to go in and say, yeah, this is the fate, this is my fate, this is what I'm supposed to do, let me just pay. No, of course you will pay it. If at all maybe you want to do some charity or donate something, it's okay for you. But if at all now you're living on a budget, you're facing going through hard life, to clear all these bills and do everything that's required, at times it wouldn't be so much necessary to fall into debt, to pay things that you're not supposed to pay for, and then go on cursing the doctors, go on cursing the hospital, go on doing several things just because you were overcharged. And that's number one reason as to why you can be that. Then at times, maybe now for prescriptions, this one applies more for prescriptions. At times, pharmaceutical companies really come up, convince doctors in one way or the other. You see, and then we are forced, okay, not forced, but we are persuaded to prescribe brands. You get? So maybe throughout your course within the hospital, maybe during the management, we're managing you on brands, prescription, maybe Pfizer, whatever, all those drugs. Of course, a brand name of a drug is more expensive than a generic name. I think you guys know about that. You get? Actually, if maybe you can reply to the comment section if at all you're not aware of that, and then I make an independent video describing how generics differ from the brands that you can relate to, and how much you can save with using generics than using the brands, something of the sort, because that's one of the areas. So when a doctor is being given some commissions and whatever, promises that you will receive something when you prescribe this drug and whatever, in most cases we end up prescribing it continuously. And so if you're also consuming it and you like it, so at times we consent when we are prescribing, but in most cases we don't even ask you that either. We just convince you that this is the drug, this is the best drug that you can use. But if at all you are aware that no, I need this, not the brand name and whatever, yeah, you can negotiate, you can complain. Okay, not even complaining, but you can really bring up yourself, how can I even phrase it, can do whatever, and you say that we can reduce, change from the brands to the generics.